that was it was in the setup.
Yeah. Just 2 down there. So look, how many? There's 6.
So they've got 4. And then you might pick up extra ones, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, you got 6.
Yeah, so there's 8
3
max.
and 2. Yeah. You get a
I wonder
lot.
if that was objective based. Okay. Well, this is something we should be talking about in the video.
We're on camera. Hello. We're already talking. It's staying in. Okay. We just finished our first to ever learning scenario of fighting formations from GMT games.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Love this.
So this is going to be kind of a first impressions, more raw style video, so we're just going to have a chit chat. We're going to play more of this and do like a more comprehensive review at some point.
Well, and I would also like, I would like to.
And by some point, I mean like next week.
Next week. I'd like to put the camera up and do
Yes.
a live. I think that'd be fun. Not a stream play, but a video play.
And perhaps, yeah, because this is not, we're quite slow at these games.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like at least, but like at least doing a turn of it.
Oh, yeah, a turn or 2, yeah.
Because that way it's not.
People could see.
5 hours.
Yeah. Well, this literally took us 12, 13. We only played 3 turns and it took us about 3 hours.
Yes, but this is the first time we've ever played this.
And we're talking a lot.
And this is a tactical system.
Yes.
And yeah, we if you've ever played a game with us, we talk through everything
because we're idiots.
No. Because, yes, it helps the idiocy.
Yes.
But also, we are constantly trying to break down and analyze what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
So that we can more competently pass off that we know what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. You mean act.
Yeah. But you have to know the jargon and the lingo to be able to act.
100%.
So this is from Chad Jensen, the late Chad Jensen. He famous for Combat Commander, which we got on a shelf. He also did Dominant Species, right? Was that him? Did I make that up?
Dominant Species.
Right. 2 of our favorite games here to play, by the way.
Yeah.
The original one from, gosh, looks like
2010, I think.
2011, 2010, 2011. Fighting Formations. This is the Gross Deutschland Motorized Infantry Division. I have very shamefully had this on the shelf
for at least 5-6 years. At least.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah, a long time ago. We also have a Bumblebee flying around. So.
Yeah, he's going away.
That's what you're dealing with.
He doesn't scare me.
He's not hurting anyone.
Nope.
We can leave him alone. I'll let him out here in a bit.
He's having a grand old time.
But yeah, I've had this on the shelf, and people have been like, hey, have you played Fighting Formations? It's really cool.
And knowing that we like Combat Commander, I think a lot of people said, you guys like Combat Commander?
Or just like tactical games, period. And it was by Chad, and we just never got to it. I've got it. It's punched, it's clipped, it's ready to go.
Yeah, organized. We just never got around to it. We only have so much time.
Yes.
Frankly, we only have so much time.
However, I know that, who was I think John Foley really helped pushing this forward in connection with Kai.
Well, because Chad's been gone for how many years now? 3? 3 or 4?
Yes.
And
I should know that, and I don't.
And I know Kai also has been trying to finish other games. Of his.
Especially,
And bring out new stuff from Combat
Downfall.
Commander. Yep.
And we got it's more of this that
more Combat Commander that's coming out.
And I think Fighting Formation is one of those games that people knew about, but I don't know. I don't know a lot of people who have played it.
Sure.
And so I think we've got this new fresh package, and it comes in this 2.5-inch box, and
I think they still needs a 3-inch box.
I think they reworked the rules so they're a bit cleaner and a bit more approachable. This was honestly was a very good rule book. It's very easy to pick up.
And I would also say these player aids are very good. I just wish there were more of them.
Yeah, I would print out a second set of these for sure. But the game itself as a tactical game was immensely fun. And it wasn't mega complex.
No, I will say there's a lot of very cool elements though too.
Extremely cool elements.
You've got to get them down. Like the fire attacks, like the op fire. If you can understand those things, you know how to use them.
Yeah, and like all the tactical games,
it's not complex.
It's got the nuance of how those function, but it's got them in it. And so I know I'm playing a tactical game. I know to watch out. There's some kind of op fire. What does it look like? Okay, well in this game it looks like this, and if you fire into all these things, some things might happen.
Yep.
The automatrix system in this was wonderful.
So good.
And that's kind of like the order activations. How that plays with initiative is, I like the way that initiative works, right? Lots of games use that, where it's the initiative pendulum. I take an action, it costs this much, it goes on. Oh, it's on your side. You get an action. I do a cheap one. Oh, it's still on my side. I do an expensive one. It's back on your side. Reminds me of Purple Haze, right?
Sure.
I loved it in that.
Well, and I think the other thing that was so good about that as well is there are limited numbers or types of actions, right? There's only a couple of fires. So once those are taken, that doesn't mean you can't take that. You just have to spend, you have to pay a higher valued order to take that. So you're going to pay 5 or 6 to do a fire that normally takes 2.
Yeah.
So that's going to go to this concept of initiative handicap. But I think that's very cool. It's about choice.
Yeah.
It's about understanding, how am I going to grok it to keep the initiative away from you, to keep it on my side as much as possible, limit what you can and cannot do. That was cool.
Well, and you also have, obviously this is a World War II tactical game, so I'm the Germans. My units look very different to your units. The order matrix has different orders on each side of it.
It's very
When I
asymmetric.
take the number 6, I get to
different.
do this. When you take the number 6, you do something different.
Yeah, so your number 6 was advance.
Yeah.
My number 6 was draw asset cards, 2 asset cards.
And I love
are very
that
powerful.
part of it, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm taking this and I'm doing it because you took an order down here, so I'm paying a more expensive thing to take an order because you screwed me over.
Yeah.
But I'm doing that so that you now, if you want to get assets, have to pay something more expensive. And you get into this, like, the chain of those as it, as it goes on. That was really enjoyable.
It was interesting. At the end of the 4th turn that we did, I had a choice, right? The initiative was on my side at 8. There were only 2 orders left. Now, I could have taken any order, right? You pay for it.
But it's the cost, though. Yeah.
But it's the cost.
There was the 8 and the 10
The
left.
8 and the 10, so I'm at an 8. So we talked about it, and I decided I was going to take the 10 to put it on your side by 2 to allow you to take the 8.
So then
It would get back on my side
for next
turn. Now, looking back on it, I could have taken the 8 first. It would have been on 0. I had the fake card.
which is the tiebreaker.
I would have gone again. I could have actually drawn 7 asset cards.
And it would have denied me any possible actions on the board for shooting.
Yep. And I think about, I should have done that.
The next turn,
Sure.
I'm sitting at 8 initiative.
And you're
so
gonna-
I'm going to sit there and get the 1 move, the 2-5, the 3 move,
And be able
then
to
something
do-
else. And I'll have done
Yep.
4 things.
So that was what I was trying to weigh in my mind. 7 asset cards versus giving you the initiative and giving you a big initiative. So
Yeah, and giving initiative at the end of a turn can be very dangerous if
Yeah.
it's big.
I love games like that. Like, I love that. I have to prioritize what I'm doing, and I have to understand, okay, here's the impact. Can I withstand that?
And I think the thing that I really enjoyed about this is, first off, it was really fun. It wasn't super duper complex considering it's a tactical game. It has all the stuff that I like in it, but it didn't feel burdensome.
Yeah.
Having to look up everything. There's lots of different charts and modifiers, but after we played it a couple of turns, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I remember basically what I'm doing. I love the different types of dice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But you have this order matrix in the initiative system instead of something in Combat Commander where you have the card system. And the card system is what a lot of people
Complain
object
about.
to.
Yeah.
If they're going to object to something in Combat Commander, it's usually that.
I just think they don't know what they're talking about.
No, but this solves that
It
complaint
does.
that people have. And
It
I
takes
think
that randomness out of it and makes it way more
you control that,
controllable.
but then you still have the element of randomness in the reseeding of that, which
Yeah.
was one of my favorite parts, because the scenario we had that sets it up, there's 1 cube in each of the 1 to 10 orders.
At the start,
At the end of every turn, as you reseed that,
you roll a D10.
you literally roll 10
I rolled
D10.
a 2. Yeah.
And
a
you,
2.
You put out your 10
Yeah.
cubes in whatever it is that you rolled.
That
Now,
was interesting.
we had a pretty even distribution most times, but sometimes it's going to be real skewed. You'll have like five
I
sixes.
rolled 2 1s and the previous 2 were 2 2s. So that would have meant 4 of those assets, or if you had the initiative, you could go 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. And so then I'm doing a bunch of cheap stuff and there's
Yeah.
only expensive stuff left. Or you're like, oh, if you end up with like 3 or 4 ones, that's cool. We can do a whole bunch of moves early.
Yeah.
But that means there's a bunch of other stuff that's not really available. or it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting situation to play in without
Yeah.
being like, oh, I got a bad hand and like I'm gonna cry about it. You
Well, I
know?
think it's important because we keep saying more expensive. You can take any action on the board.
More expensive.
It's just more expensive because you have to pay the value associated with a cube that you're taking. So you may want to do a move, which is a 3, but the only cubes available are 6, 7, 8, and 9. Well, you got to take one of those, so you're paying 6 for a 3 movement.
And then on
that's
top
what
of
we
that,
mean by that.
That's
right?
just for the order cube.
Then you got to pay for how many people you want to move.
Yeah, unless you're under the orders or the commands, sorry.
Which are cool.
And the commands was also a neat little subsystem. Again, not super complicated. You get these commands, you put them out, they have a command range, which will differ based on faction and scenario.
Yep.
So you might have a 2 command range, 3 command range, a 0. You might have, 1 or a 4. And it starts with 0. So everyone under that and within command range of that, you don't have to pay additional initiative to activate them within that order.
That is so powerful.
At the end of the turn, all your missions flip to tacticals. So now that has a 1. So even if I pay that 7 initiative to take that move, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I then have to pay 1 for each of the guys under that tactical order to even move them on the order that I took. And so all of a sudden this 7 move, if I move 4 guys, is now an 11 move. And now you're like, oh, maybe I'll keep a guy back or 2 just so like...
Because I don't need,
Because the initiative swing would be too much.
Yeah.
And then, once at the end of that turn, the 1s go away. They go into this pending commands box, and you don't got those commands until the whole of the next turn when they become available again.
Yep.
And at that point, if you don't have commands, to activate a guy costs 2 initiative per guy.
Yeah.
And that's really expensive.
Well, because, but I really enjoy that system.
That was just fun. That was fun to contend with. You get into that cycling aspect of it, and then you're messing with the order priorities. That was really
Downfall had something like that. So Downfall had a similar concept where the actions you took had a value.
Yeah.
And you moved the calendar, and you had to overcome. As long as you were behind someone and nobody was behind you, you could keep going. Same principle. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That they've kind of modified that and made this.
And we've played a few games that have that kind of thing in it, where it's like, it's the catch-up initiative almost.
Yeah.
Again, Purple Haze has that, and I've always enjoyed that because it's like, okay, it's very gamey.
Yep.
But I like that game. I like that game of like, how can I maximize the initiative whilst I have it?
Right.
Let me take a couple small things, and then take a big thing. But it won't be so big that one person will get to do one thing, and I'll go one more time after that.
Right.
So I've really done, out of 5 actions, I did 4 of them.
Yep.
And then that last one leapfrogged me, and then I'm going to wait a bit.
Yep.
I'll see the initiative for a bit, and then I'm back in it, maximizing my stuff. But the way that you get some chaos into that with the D10s for reseeding made that a joy as well. That was real fun.
Well, and the other thing about the initiative, and you kind of mentioned it, but the concept of really playing the initiative is very important. I'm sorry, not the initiative. The initiative here.
Yeah, that's
choosing orders that make your other guy's stuff more expensive is a very important part of this game. Think of it as battlefield oversight and command and control. It's like you're trying your best to put your people in the proper positions to make it more difficult for the enemy to get at them or to do what they want to do. Well, and I like that a lot.
And the other thing I love was the deck of asset cards.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
That was real fun. We've played games that have assets in them, but this is like, you got this deck of asset cards. It is a function of this order matrix. You want to pick those up. These give you special actions that you can do, special reactions that you can do, all sorts of cool bits and pieces. Yeah. They have the rules printed on the cards, which I love, but there are explanations in the rule books as well. To kind of further clarify a couple bits and pieces if you have them.
Look at that one.
Flip any one active command marker to its other side, friendly or enemy.
Yeah, so I can make yours a 1.
Yeah. Or you can flip yours back to a
That's
0.
Powerful.
You do that early in a round. That's real strong.
I'm actually surprised. There's only about 8 or 10 different cards. I thought there would be more variety.
That's a bit more than that, maybe. It's like 10. But I like I don't know.
Sure.
I don't hate it.
No, it's just, I thought there would be more of these. It's really just the same 8 or 10 things, which is fine.
But yeah,
These are cool.
Yeah.
Very much enjoyed
But the
these.
game has so many interesting choices. Like, everything you do has knock-on consequences. Even from, like, I had lost this game probably on, like, the first thing that I did in the game.
Because you weren't aggressive and you forgot what the
Yes.
objective of the game
And we
was.
hadn't really played, but,
Sure.
like, I was like, oh, I wanted to move, and then I was like, well, I've only got 1 asset card, and I can get 3 assets over there, but it seeded 10 initiative.
And then
I
just
didn't really think about that.
moved
And
up.
then you just like drove across the board real cheap, and I was like, oh, the moves are all at the bottom.
Yeah.
Whoops. And I had like lost
Yep.
the game immediately.
Yep.
But it was like, we still played it through just to kind of see what would happen and do the stuffs.
We played it through because
Well, we're learning as well.
we're
It's
learning,
not-
but I also think your stugs are very powerful. You could literally wipe me out.
Yeah.
If you get a couple of attacks in a row.
And it's just a case of making sure I get the time right to
Yep.
do it.
Right.
And that's, again, the sudden death roll. It's a hallmark of Chad Jensen. It's
Yep.
very similar to
It can end the game at any time once you've hit that.
Yeah.
But
And it's very likely to as
yeah.
well.
How many stugs did you have to start the game?
I started
3,
with
5?
5, yeah.
So
And
you're
I've got
down
3
to,
left.
You're down to 3. So I killed 2.
One in an airstrike and the other
Just-
one just regularly,
was-
maybe? Shoot it with tanks? Maybe?
Nope, I killed 2 with that airstrike. Didn't I?
One was with the artillery strike,
Yes.
maybe, and the other one was with the airstrike.
So I think the reason I bring that up is my initial reaction looking at your Stug's armor and its attack, I'm like, well, that thing's never going to miss, and it's never going to miss a block. But the reality is I have different assets than you do. I have assets that...
I think the assets are
balance that.
similar, but you have more of them.
Sure, my card's like double.
Look at your, and you have more opportunities to get more of them. Where's your fighter bomber? Because that was the real strong one that did a lot.
So right there.
And I want to see what my one looks like, because I have one of those too.
I have 2 of those.
Yeah, they're
3,
the same.
4. Okay. So they're both very powerful.
But I would have, if I'd have played my fighter bomber, all
I have
just
5 of
flip the
those.
air support mark.
Sure.
And that's just it. I think you're right. This is where we get into what makes this game really, really, really good and very, very clever. Is, yeah, you can flank the Stugs. They've got a 12 armor on the side.
just
It's
hard
not
to
great.
do, though.
That's difficult to
It's
do
hard to
tactically
do.
with the terrain and the initiative.
Yep.
So what do the Allies do? They call the air support and
Yeah.
artillery. That's how they got rid of it,
Yep.
right? You don't
I mean-
send the Shermans up to
Nope.
to take those. And so you really have to get into the mindset of, okay, here's what I'm good
Yeah.
at. Here's how I should tackle this particular problem.
Yep.
Oh, I've got Tiger tanks over there. Okay. Maybe I'm
Light
going
'em
to take
up.
those 10 initiatives and get
Yeah.
those, and so I can mill those for the fighters, the bombers,
Yep.
and the artillery.
And just
I'm
light
gonna-
'em up.
I'm just not even going to look at them.
Yeah.
We're going to take them out, and then we're going to march up the other side of the
Yep.
board. But I love that, because that's
Yeah.
what they were doing.
Agreed.
And the Germans are contending with the limitations of their Stugs, with their firing arcs. They can't shoot behind themselves. They've got no turrets. And so you're moving early and setting yourself up in an ambush. That's what they're good for. You are not driving those up like a regular tank trying to do infantry support in the same way with them.
Yeah.
These are late war guns. They're long barrels. They got AP. That's what you're using them for. And you get the historical tactics and like strategic implementations at this tactical level, and that is a massive credit to this game.
Yeah.
I really, really like that part of it too.
Well, I had a great time with it. We're going to play a bigger scenario next time.
Yeah, this was just the intro kind
Well,
of.
this was
scenario
scenario
for the rules.
0, wasn't it? What
I think
it
it's
was
technically
called
0. Yeah,
And I think how many scenarios are there? 8, 10?
I think it's more than that. There's a lot. There's 12 maps at least.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 13 scenarios.
13 scenarios.
But the maps go. I think it's 13 maps.
Okay.
Like, it was a lot. I don't know how much this game was, but it's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of maps in it.
Sure.
They're double-sided, so I think there's 6 map sheets. But like, some of these are pretty big and beefy.
Yep.
But I don't. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a lot of guys. Like, it's like 4 of these, 3
yeah.
of these. Like, it's a lot of guys. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's where some of that like real fun stuff comes in.
Fort hexes.
That'll be print. I think that's printed on the map
Yeah,
as
so
well.
that's one of the.
And we got some British units.
Yep,
in there?
we do. We
Oh, I
have
didn't know
some-
that. It looks like it's
They're-
just engineering. Churchill crocodiles.
Yeah, crocodiles
Yeah.
and
They're going to go up to the fort
Churchills.
and throw the flamethrowers
Yeah.
at them. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 of those. Yeah, I was impressed by the variety. You've got anti-tank, you've got artillery, you've got multiple types of Shermans.
Yeah, and that's
and you
the
have
fun of it.
tigers, panthers.
Yeah, I got tigers,
and
panthers, Panzer
panzers.
IVs, Martyrs, Stugs. I got, half-track flak 88s. I got all sorts of stuff, and that's the joy of it,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Combat Commander's wonderful. It's guys.
Vehicles are fun.
The vehicles are fun, and
like
they're
vehicles.
done well in this, in that it's not overly complex.
Yeah.
And that's most people's complaints with tactical games that have combined arms, is that the infantry rules are nice and easy, and the vehicle rules are like mega complex.
Yeah.
And trying to ease the burden of either one side of that, they've done a decent job of this. The fire attacks are resolved not the same, but similarly enough.
While there's a lot of steps, it's not overly complex. It literally is, I'm rolling a couple d10s, I'm adding my attack value, totaling, you're then rolling, adding your
Defense value,
whatever
it is.
If it's equal to or greater than the number I rolled, you block. If it's less, then you take a hit.
Yeah.
The other cool thing is you draw one of these hit chits.
And I always love this in a game.
Yeah, this was done in Academy Games.
Is it
Storm of Steel and
Conflict of Heroes?
Conflict of Heroes. But you pull these out, they are double-sided. One is a vehicle side, one is a man side. And they are everything from stun, shaken.
Didn't Enemy Action Ardennes have that? Enemy Action Kharkov?
Yes, they
That's
did.
what they had.
Suppressed.
And I
Broken,
love it. There's
shattered.
so much variety.
Yeah.
Because all of that stuff is just flavor.
Yeah.
But like you have the F, you can't fire. You have the M, you can't move. And then you have
a morale
rally
number. Yep.
And that can be...
And those are
huge.
huge.
Some of them are really low.
16.
Some of them are really
This one's
high.
16.
Some of them are black.
Yep.
Some of them are red. If
And
it's
the red-
red,
You
not
miss
good.
it, you die.
Yeah. And those are the high numbers. So I think I had a red 18, and it was like, I don't even know why I'm bothering.
Yeah, red 18 you had right there.
But he had an F and an M, so he was useless.
Yes, and he
So
was
like,
I think you got bogged down, did you not?
yeah, I got bogged
on a
down.
bocage.
And I messed up the bogged down roll so badly that I got a
pulled a
damage
marker.
marker. You
Yeah,
don't always
hilarious.
get a damage marker.
Nope.
It was like, ugh.
Yeah, I thought the artillery was pretty productive. I mean, I suppressed a guy here, I suppressed a guy here, I killed at least 1 or 2 tanks. That was fun. I had a great time. I cannot wait to explore it more.
I love this in a game. The assets were great.
Yeah, I had a good time with this.
I like the changing dice, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
The dice quality goes up and down based on how good or crappy of an attack you're doing.
How many times are you rolling d20s? Not very often in war games. That's
No.
pretty rare.
And the 20s were mostly used for barrages.
Yep.
But you can do fire attacks on 20s if you have good modifiers.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get D10s to D12s in the core rules. I couldn't see a way to get D20s, but in the special rules,
You can get to d20s.
you can get to D20s. But I still don't know how I haven't found those rules yet. But they give there is a way to do it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed this, and I can't wait to explore it more.
Yeah,
frankly.
I'm looking forward to more of this.
Well, and it makes me mad because we've had fighting formations on the shelf for a
I'm not mad about it, but it's like, oh, this goes up onto the shelf of shame, like it goes up the list.
I'm not mad either, but it's like, oh.
Because this is still American. Oh no, this is Soviets. This is East Front.
Oh, okay.
This is Germans and
yeah.
Soviets,
Yeah.
and it looks like it's early war. Like they've got short barrel Panzer IVs and Panzer IIs, T-34s, T-70s. Yeah, I mean that's just. I mean, what's not to like about that too?
You have a deep.
Yeah,
It's because there's a lot of
because there's so
counters.
many.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna probably try and change that and figure out how to.
Well,
do
if
it.
you notice, mine, I tried to fit so many in that the lids don't fit.
And this is just counters. I've got all the maps, all the paper, and all the cards in another box.
I hate
Like if
that.
it's even if I
hate
compress
that.
this, there's no way to get it in here.
Yeah, at least they did a.
I've got the rules here, but none of the maps.
At least they did a 2+ inch, but they needed a 3-inch box.
I guarantee that Cube for me will figure out a way to get that in there.
You think?
They're so good at that now. Look how this is insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Combat Commander, you're gonna like this. If you like tactical games, you're gonna like this.
Yeah, and I think it's not
not overly difficult.
No, there are other games which are a lot more crunchy and complex.
Yeah. Well, Last 100 Yards is one that I think is more crunchy than this. There's some similar crunch.
Lock and Load's way more crunchy than this.
This is, I think it strikes that, there's a little bit of crunch, but not too much.
I think this is, it's probably on the same level as Combat Commander, but I think elements of it are simpler.
Yeah.
Like, at least from what we have played, and maybe there's a way to do it, there's no, like,
fire groups,
fire teams, groups, or anything like. Because that's where you start getting into like, okay, this guy can bring this guy and this guy and this guy down these lines of these commands and all these additional modifiers and stuff.
Yeah.
None of that here.
Yeah.
And I liked that part of it, that it was like we read the rules real quick and we're up and running in a way that surprised
about 30 minutes,
me.
Yeah. Well, and I think what I want to do next Friday, I think, is our next time we play.
Look how much wire there is in that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
There's a ton of wire counters. But we'll set up a bigger scenario. I'd like to turn the camera on and shoot from about at least a turn or two.
Yeah, I would like to do at least a turn.
Just to show people how it works.
Because I don't think a lot of people have seen this.
Well, I think a lot of games people don't see. There's not a lot of us out there doing this.
Yeah,
frankly.
Sure, but this is also one that, like, I think people know from this. But again, that first volume came out, and like
10 years
some
ago,
people
15.
played it.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
I don't hear people talking about it.
No.
And the people who I do hear talking about it are like, it's amazing, you got to try it.
And now that I've played it, I agree. It is amazing.
Yeah, I think this is, and I also think this is good value too. There's
like 13 scenarios.
13 scenarios, 13 different maps.
Yep.
Tons of guys, and you're never going to play the game the same scenario twice.
And then you have the advanced rules, so you could throw those in, right? Didn't you say that?
No, these are there's just, it's the series, this game specific rules.
I thought there were some advanced rules though that.
There's exclusive rules. There's some optional rules.
Okay, that's what I meant. Optionals.
Yeah, no, now you said that. I think there's, but I don't know if it's a lot.
Oh, and there's all the cards listed out.
It's like half a page of optional stuff.
What's that interrogation? Each player rolls a d6. Highest roll may look at all asset cards in their opponent's hand. Ooh, that's kind of fun. What does that come from?
From the events.
Oh, there are events. Yeah.
At the end of every turn, immediately before advancing the turn marker, the player with initiative blindly draws one event chip from the event.
That's what these are.
Oh, we would never play without those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're definitely doing that.
This one's medic, dash, breeze.
And they're all explained here.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. We're going to play those.
We're definitely doing that.
That's fun.
That's the only optional rule, but we're definitely doing it.
Yeah.
That's not even a question.
Yeah.
Events.
That's awesome.
That's the best part of any game.
Yeah, there's a lot to like here.
Yes.
I had a blast.
I have extremely high hopes for this. They paid off, and I look forward to a lot more of this.
Agreed.
And I hope that the team continue to make these.
Sure.
And that the system gains the traction that it deserves. Because I will now go back and play my first one as well. And this has a lot in the box too. And the system is great, that it would be easy enough for someone to pick up and to transport to a different formation. Different battles.
I think that's the cool thing about fighting formations is it's really targeted towards specific divisions or brigades and this is the blue and gray division, the 29th.
And it's the battles that they were in. Like you get that, and they have the entire order of battle of the 29th Infantry Division.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, whereas the other one focused on the German.
This was the Gross Deutschland motorized infantry division, which is a bit of a mouthful.
That's cool. Yeah.
But it's got all that same stuff in there as well. I just think that's neat, and I would love to see more of that.
I had a blast with this.
Yeah, no, this has got a lot going for it, for sure.
I can't wait till next Friday when we play again.
Fighting Formations. You got to check this out. There'll be more of this coming, but thanks for tuning in. I've been Alexander for PlayerSafe.com.
And I'm Grant.